Hello and welcome back folks, it's Blue here with a Wi-Fi battle long overdue. This is one between myself and old rival Shadow from the Hideaway, who at the time of recording this video was the flying type gym leader. He has since passed on that title to a newcomer. However, this was our flying type and bug type gyms squaring off, and I lead with my Genesect, which as you can see is carrying the electric drive, because I wanted to have the really powerful electric type move thrown on there. However, I do make a mistake here because I figured he would lead with either the Garchomp to set up Stealth Rocks or lead with Skarmory to set up Stealth Rocks, and when that didn't happen I decided, you know what, I can actually maybe try to hit this thing with a huge electric move, and no, apparently Charizard outspeeds my Genesect because I believe this one was a modest nature, not a timid nature, and his Charizard probably fully speed invested beats it. However, I do go into my Yanmega. Now this is a Focus Sash Ancient Power Yanmega. Not many people know that it gets Ancient Power, so you have, offensively you can choose between Rock, Grass with Giga Drain, you have Bug Buzz, and you have Air Slash. I definitely recommend Air Slash on this thing. Protect works really well in tandem with Focus Sash, but I wanted to go straight for the Ancient Power because I can scare him out with his Charizard. I can go straight for another Ancient Power on the switch, hit the Salamence for some massive damage, and actually get all of the boosts, which is really nice because it is a weak move. However, Yanmega Focus Sash is there to counter Talonflames and Charizards specifically, and catching a Salamence with an Ancient Power, it's just a bonus. So that's his Choice Scarf Salamence down, and it's great because me having a few speed boosts in place already means that I actually outspeed the Choice Scarf Pokemon, and now in comes his Skarmory. So this thing is an absolute monster, and if any of you have actually battled against Alex, you'll know that his Skarmory takes no prisoners. So he whirlwinds me out, and I'm into my Armaldo, which isn't horrible. I don't really have an awful lot of offensive pressure here. However, I can pretty much take anything this Skarmory has because it's a fully defensive Skarmory. I actually don't think it has any straight up attacks on its own. So I know it's got Stealth Rock, it's got Defog, and it's got Roost. I can't remember what the fourth move is, but I don't know if I actually get to see the fourth move in this battle at all because he keeps this thing for hazard control specifically. And so I want to keep putting rocks up on the field because I know that he only has Defog on his team. He doesn't have access to a Rapid Spinner, so if I keep rocks on his side of the field, he has to defog away his own rocks from mine. So I don't need to waste time going for Rapid Spin. I can keep throwing out Stealth Rocks to match his, and then whenever he goes for the defog, he clears both sides of the field. But he does get the Ho-Oh in, and unfortunately Stone Miss is as reliable as ever. Well, this one actually connects, thank goodness. Yeah, I do get the critical hit, so that's the end of Ho-Oh, which is bloody brilliant, because that's an assault-vested, specially defensive Ho-Oh with like max HP and max special defense that I think it gets by on getting the burn from Sacred Fire, and I do get burned and basically end up losing my Armaldo, but as I said, I keep going for Stealth Rocks so that they're up on both sides of the field. Mutually assured destruction is the way of things here, because at least most of my team is a very offensive based team with Armaldo there for rocks support, and his team is fairly balanced but more on the side of defensive, I would say, because he's got his defensive Landers, he's got Assault Vest Thundurus, he's got a defensive Skarmory, he's got an Assault Vested Ho-Oh, and then I come into a really difficult problem here. I have Mega Horn, I have Poison Jab, and I have Rock Slide on this thing. I do also have Sword Stance, but I'm expecting him to go for the Whirlwind at any moment, and then I'm like, maybe he isn't going to Whirlwind me out. Maybe he wants to stay in, roost up, lay a defog down, and then set up his own rocks and have them there for the rest of the game. And so I'm like, okay, well if he's going to do all of that, maybe I can actually stay in and go for a Sword Stance. Because if I do Sword Stance up, that puts him under pressure to Whirlwind me and not do the whole hazard control thing. But I do then go for a Rock Slide. It does no damage, but it does force him to lay off setting up the defog and the rocks, and instead Whirlwinds me out. But Pointed Stones, goodbye Yanmega, goodbye, you beautiful little thingy. It doesn't have a chance, so it goes down. I do go into Heracross now, and at this point in the game, Pointed Stones are on my side of the field for the rest of the match, and I go into Heracross and I'm like, maybe Heracross can take this thing down. Unfortunately no, not in one hit anyway. So he does go for the defog, and now there are no more rocks on either side of the field, and his next move is going to obviously be to set up rocks later on, so he wants to keep that Skarmory, and then he's just going to keep swapping around and wearing me down that way, and I'm like, oh crap. So he swaps into the Landorus. I'm now at -1 attack, -2 defense, and -2 special defense, so staying in with Heracross is obviously not an option, and I do want to keep this because it's one of my best physical attacking options left, because it, with a close combat, can one-shot that Skarmory. So that's what I'm absolutely wanting to keep it for. So I'm like, okay, I can swap out. I will bring in my Scizor, because this thing has a lot of physical defense. It's neutral to Earthquake, it's neutral to Stone Edge, it doesn't care about a U-turn, it doesn't care about a knockoff, so I can deal quite happily with whatever this Landorus has. He decides to U-turn back out. He's going to swap back into that Skarmory. This is where he's looking to set up those rocks that he wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, he's either going to set up rocks or he's going to roost. In either scenario, I'm going to start going with the Sword Stance and then into the Bullet Punch. And no, +2 Bullet Punch, even with Technician and Stab, still cannot take down a Skarmory, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. So he's way back up to like 60% HP. I go for the knockoff, even with no item in play. Knockoff is very clearly the stronger option to go for. Unfortunately, I get blown into Avalanche here instead of Heracross. If I got put into Heracross at this moment, it would have been absolutely fantastic. I could have knocked out that Skarmory, gotten a Moxie boost, and been completely set. But no, I go for the Rock Slide here because I'm gambling on that flinch chance. If I got the flinch, I could have had a second Rock Slide and maybe taken out Skarmory that way. Unfortunately not, so he is going to get back up to full health. This thing is basically indestructible because my Genesect was my only source of ice and electric damage on this team, on the same Pokemon, and I lost it immediately to a bad play. So it puts too much pressure on Genesect by putting all of the electric and ice on there. I should have brought Galvantula along for this game. So everything else simply carries Stone Edge, Rock Slide as coverage, really. I think I have Rock type moves on at least 4 of my Pokemon in this team. So I go for another Rock Slide here, and I'm like, please flinch him, please flinch. But no. So I get Whirlwinded out again, and we repeat this process until luck is finally on my side. Lady Luck decides that it's time for Heracross to come back in, and I get an easy Moxie boost here, going to +1 by killing the Skarmory. I decide I would lock myself into Knockoff, because if he brings back in the Landorus afterwards, Close Combat won't do a great job, Stone Age won't do a great job either. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't really do much, so I'll just go for the knockoff against the Skarmory instead. It's the best of my options because I don't need to risk going for a Stone Age, which might miss. He goes for a knockoff, but you cannot knock off a Mega Stone, so it doesn't get the bonus damage. He goes for an Earthquake. However, as I said, Steel and Bug cancel each other out, so I'm actually neutral to ground type attacks, which is quite nice. And Mega Scizor alone actually has a pretty decent degree of physical defense as it is. So I'm able to roost back up. He knows he isn't going to be able to get rid of me, so he swaps into the Charizard, thinking that I might try to set up or simply roost, and then he'd be able to outspeed me and go for it. But no, Bullet Punch, my friend, is going to remove your Charizard. There's no two ways around that. Charizard is gone down. However, we're not out of the woods just yet, so he swaps into Thundurus, and I'm like, does this thing have HP Fire? Did he set up the Sun so that he could have HP Fire? But no, apparently not. He goes straight for the Thunderbolt. It's nice, he does get the hacks to put the paralysis on me, but I don't get paralyzed, so a huge knockoff to remove the item, followed by a Bullet Punch at +2 with Technician is going to be enough to quickly see the end of that Thundurus, and now into the Landorus again. So Intimidate brings me back down to only +1. A Bullet Punch is going to be nice, but it's not enough. Even with a crit, like, I'm going to need at least 3 attacks to be able to deal with this thing. Rocky Helmet is there. It's going to bring me down. There's the Earthquake to finish off my Scizor, and at this point I have, let me think, I have Armaldo, and I have Heracross still left. I'm going to bring in Armaldo just because there's not really much else that he can possibly do. Swap into Avalanche. Again, Avalanche doesn't have a whole lot of attacking options. I've got Mega Horn, which would be 4 times resisted. I've got Poison Jab, which is going to be 2 times resisted. And I've got Rock Slide, which is going to be neutral and not get stabbed. So I decided to go for the Poison Jab because it's going to do the best amount of damage, and if I got lucky I might get a poison because I believe it's a 30% chance. However, He was there to get the chip damage so that Heracross can come in and be the final man standing. My choice Scarf, absolutely most reliable Pokemon on my team. Little Heracross comes in, gets the KO, and that's the match, 1-0 in the end of it. So, if you like that and you'd like to see more of my team going up against this flying type team, because I have plenty of these battles, Alex and I used to have quite a few matches, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, like or dislike at your pleasure, and I will see you later on for more Wi-Fi giveaways and battles, folks. Thank you for watching, goodbye.